This is Cashew. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Nikole and this is my firstborn, my first child, Cashew, the boxer, on Instagram. You guys can follow her for all the cute puppy photos. Hey, you gonna hang out or you gonna run away? She looks like on the edge of her seat. There's a sweet potato on top of the camera right now and she wants the other half. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. So Cashew is now 2 years old. I cannot believe she's already such a grown up. I feel like she's officially a teenager. And she is my first dog that I've ever had. I grew up with cats, funny enough, because if you follow my channel, you probably just think I'm obsessed with dogs and I always have been. All right, giving her another sweet potato. We're bribing her to stay here with me. But yeah, fun fact is I grew up with cats. I never was really a dog person. It's not that I disliked dogs. Sorry for the background crunching noises. It wasn't really till I was older and just working from home by myself a lot, just realizing that I probably could really benefit from a little best friend with me all the time. And Matt grew up with dogs. His mom still has so many dogs all the time. And so I think I was just more like around dogs. And I just started to like develop more of an interest in dogs. And then honestly, it wasn't, my obsession didn't truly start until we got Cashew. So I did a video, I guess now like almost 2 years ago, about 10 things I wish I knew before getting a puppy, because like I said, I knew nothing. So getting her was a shock. Like, I just feel like I had no idea what to expect. I think Matt did, which is why he wanted us to wait a bit before we got a dog. Why are you being so awkward sitting? Okay, sit. There you go. You're gonna hang out with mom? She's so big. Can we just like do a flashback to the first video I did with her? Just on my lap, and now you're taller than me. So since filming that other video, it's been highly requested for me to do a follow-up on things that I'm basically happy I did with Cashew, because like I said, I knew nothing. So I feel like I did a pretty good job. She's an awesome dog. I always say that we got really lucky. There's some things that I think, you know, is a result from us training her, and other things that I think just came naturally with Cashew. And now she has a bone. Okay, we're very lucky. She is such a good dog. And now she's a great big sister for our 5-month-old daughter, Sage. And it's just been such a blessing to have her in our lives. And I just hope that she lives forever, because she's already 2 and I feel like she's growing up so fast. So I decided to make a list of 10 more things. But this is, like I said, things that I'm happy I did with Cashew, because if you have a new dog, I highly recommend doing these things, because I do think it really helped kind of mold her into this awesome dog and really person. I feel like she's a person that she is today. She's just a person in a dog's body. Now, the first thing I think is important for anyone with a dog, especially like a big dog like Cashew, like she's about, I think she's like 65 or 70 pounds now. One thing I definitely knew was that I wanted a big dog, and with a big dog, I think comes more responsibility. Actually, you know what? That's not true. Even small dogs, I think it's really important to make sure they are trained. I just knew I wanted a big dog, so I knew they needed to be well trained. I knew I wanted a bigger dog because I wanted one that could be active with us and not get tired if we want to go for like a 2-hour nature hike or something. So Cashew is a boxer bull mastiff, so it's kind of a nice mix of a big lazy dog and also a big energetic dog. The boxer and bull mastiff I think is a really fun mix. And so the first thing is we wanted to make sure she was well trained. So we took her to a puppy training. It was about, I think, like 6 weeks long. And to be honest, she's being so silly. Isn't this like the life of a dog mom? You're trying to like film with them and they're like, no, no. So we ended up taking her to a puppy training school near us that I think was like 6 weeks long. I didn't know this before, but really when you're going to puppy school, it's really the teacher teaching you to train your dog, because you're the one that's gonna be living with your dog. It's all about consistency. So if you want a well-trained dog, it's a lot of work on the owner, but it pays off. Like nowadays, or she's now over 2, those things are instilled. Yeah, you need to keep up with them, but in the beginning, you need to be really diligent about it, so that way it just sticks into their mind and it's like second nature for them, and it molds them into this doggy that is gonna just be more enjoyable to have as they grow older and are a part of your family. So a few things that we really learn in puppy school are positive and corrective noises or words. So one thing that we do anytime we were training her, she did something good, or we just want to reinforce like this word is a good thing. The word is yes. So anytime she would do a trick or just do something good, I would reinforce the word yes and give her a treat. So it could just be her playing and doing her own thing, and then I would just walk by her and say yes and give her a treat. So that was like the positive word. So opposite to that, we would also have a correction noise. So for us, it's kind of, I mean, everyone has a different sound, but you'll kind of create your own, but we kind of just it's hard to do it like on command, but there's just a correction noise that both Matt and I have our individual ones, but it's just like a noise that you make, kind of like a grunt, and it just gets their attention to be like, oh, and they kind of self-correct, which is really awesome because you don't have to have like a clicker or anything. I know people do other things, but I can do it anytime, anywhere, and she knows to stop and pay attention and maybe correct what she's doing. The other things are just different keywords, like the word gentle we use all the time, the sage. If she's playing too rough, for whatever the case, we need to use the word gentle. If she's going up to one of my nieces or nephew, we use the word gentle, and that she knows like to proceed with caution or just be extra gentle. She knows the word, and honestly, we use it all the time. So I highly recommend just having that code word in there. Like she doesn't know drop it, but she knows gentle. All right, speaking of training, one of the things that we started right off the bat, because this is something that Matt's mom told us to do, she's like, I feel like she could run her own puppy school training class, and it was to have your dog wait for their food. So anytime we were preparing food, if she was like jumping on us and stuff, we would stop what we were doing. We would have her like go into like another room. Like our house is like open concept, so we would have her just lay down on the rug in the living room, tell her to like sit or wait, and then we would proceed with preparing her food. And if she came back and jumped on me again and started barking or anything, I would stop and then like sit until she calmed down. So she would understand that if she keeps jumping on me, it's not gonna make her food come any faster. And honestly, we didn't have to do that often. She now just automatically sits and waits for her food while it's prepared. It's really cute. And the other thing that has really helped is when we actually place down her food, she doesn't just like run and like push me over to get to her food. She just sits and waits until we give her the okay, which is like yes or okay, and then she'll go and eat her food. So it's nice because like you're not having your dog like clobber you while you're just trying to prepare their food, and it just, I think, creates good not table manners, but like dish bowl manners. And it honestly, like, it's one of the best things I've done, and she now still does it. She always waits for her food. It just doesn't make her like aggressive with her food. And I would even do other things, like sometimes if I put food in there, I would pretend like I was eating it, or like she has a bone, I would take away her bone for a little bit and give it back to her to see if she had any aggression. So that really helps too. Like she has zero food aggression, so that's been really nice. Just as a way to kind of like really instill those habits at a young age, so that when they get older, they don't feel like there's scarcity with their food and that it may be taken away at any point, so they need to like guard it. I can take her food away, no problem. I can touch it and she's totally fine. Okay, the other big thing when it comes to food that I knew before I even had a dog, that this is something I was gonna take super seriously, and that is not feeding your dog from the kitchen table. And also just not sharing food. Like I'll never be like eating something, taking a bite, and then giving her some of it. It's like she has her food and I have my food. And the reason being is I actually really find it annoying when like you're eating at the table and like dog is just like barking or drooling on your leg and you're trying to eat, or you have guests over, you're hosting a dinner, and not everybody wants like a dog staring at them slobbering, just wanting what's on their plate. And it just doesn't make it for an enjoyable like eating experience. So I just knew right off the bat that Cashew is not going to be eating people food off the table. Like she eats like, I wouldn't call it people food, but she eats like some food that I eat, like apples and peanut butter and stuff, but she's not eating, say, some of my like lasagna or pizza. Like that's not dog food. And not only I think is it a bad habit to give them food off your plate, but also like it's not good for them. I just don't think it's good for them to be eating like processed or just like people food that has like a mixture of like other things like salt and sugars, like even desserts and stuff. I just really only give her like dog food or like whole foods that are just simple ingredients that would be in her normal diet anyways. That being said, you also just want to make sure, like, there's some foods that dogs should not be eating, like onions and garlic, and in a lot of our cooked food, that those ingredients are in there. Even grapes, avocados, there's a lot of foods that dogs can't eat, so just be mindful. In the beginning, we had a guide stuck to the fridge that we would just reference, because like I had no idea that dogs can have avocados or grapes or even apple cores, like they can have apple but not the core. So those are good things to know in the beginning, because you don't want to be giving your dog something that could potentially make them sick. Okay, another thing, there's a lot of things with food. Another thing with food, which is huge, like next to the waiting for food, is having a code word for food that nobody really, it's not like an often used word. So ours is, I can't. This was great because in the beginning, she would only respond if we used this code word. And it's like a nickname for food in Portuguese. And it was good because we could also use it as like an emergency word if she was like, when we were training her to be outside and stuff, if she kind of ran off or whatever, we could just use that word and she would come back like in an instant. And we could only use it if we were gonna give her her meal. Otherwise it would just be like crying wolf. So I am very mindful and strict about like not using this word unless we are giving her a meal. So to this day, she still like references that word as her dinner, and I could say food, dinner, she has no idea what that is. And it's nice because like if that word comes up in conversation, she's not gonna be like, what, where's my food? She has no idea. And it is nice to have that word associated with food that you can also use as an emergency command word in case they like run off or something. Okay, I also have here lots of exercise and just like reinforcing, like practicing tricks. There was a saying I heard early on with Cashew, and it said like a tired dog is a good dog. And I couldn't agree with that more, because I feel like when dogs are just way too energized, they're less likely to follow commands. They're gonna be getting into things more like biting things, ruining furniture, because they have all this built up energy. Like they're puppies, they have a lot of energy and you need to get that out. So we still make sure to exercise Cashew. Like we'll take her for long walks, we'll let her run in a field, get that like energy out. And I feel like it just helps her be a more like calm, well-behaved dog. She has never really chewed our furniture. She kind of did chewed our shoes a couple times. Like I think most puppies, like as they're learning what they're allowed to eat and not eat. But we've just personally found that if she has been well exercised, she's less likely to get into things at home. And also with the tricks, we have always made sure to like reinforce those tricks. Like training and teaching them tricks is very exhausting for them too, and it's a form of like mental exercise. Them having to actually stop and think about what they're doing, I think, is mentally draining. And there'll be times where like if we can't go outside because it's bad weather, I'll just do like half hour of training and doing tricks with her. Even taking it to like a fun next level is like doing hide and go seek with your dog. It's so fun. It's a fun game that we still do where I'll tell her to wait, I'll hide somewhere, and then I'll say come, and she'll come and find me. So it's nice because you're teaching her those like wait and come commands, and it's fun for you too. Instead of just standing there in one spot teaching them the same tricks, you can make it into a fun game. But yeah, anytime Cashew gets really annoying, and by that I mean like isn't letting me work, is super whiny, is just super needy and stuff, I find it just means that she needs to get exercised. And it's just a good reminder for us to like get outside, take her outside, and get us all some fresh air. This next one is having her be comfortable with no leash. I think pretty much from an early age, we had her off leash. Not just like around our neighborhood just because of roads, but like anywhere we could. If we were in a park or in the forest, we would have her off leash and train her to like come back to us. And now, like it took a little bit, but now even when we have her off leash, she only goes so far away from us. And if for some reason the door is open and she doesn't have a leash on, she doesn't just like run out as if like she's never been freed before. I find dogs that have been leashed their whole life are more likely to run away. That's just like my personal opinion. I don't know if that's like an actual stat, but like I just feel like from other dogs that I know that are more like if they're not on the leash, they will just run off, and the owner doesn't know if there's like literally dog hair just like flying off my hand from petting her. I know from other dogs that I know that aren't used to being off leash, if the door is open and that dog has no leash, like they're scared of the dog running away and not coming back. And just because like the dog's just so excited that it's finally free. And I don't want Cashew to feel like a prisoner, you know, we just have her on a leash for her safety, but like anytime we can have her off leash, we do. And she loves it. And when I take out the leash, she doesn't think of it as like a negative thing. She'll actually come back to me and I'll put her back on the leash. We have a good relationship with it. She knows that if she doesn't come back when I take out the leash, that next time she's gonna be on the leash for a little bit longer. And then if she's listening, she's off leash the entire time. So that's worked out really well. Every dog is different. She's not really good with roads and cars. I'm not worried about her running away, but she just gets really excited. So in like suburban areas, she's on her leash. But I still have done like dropping the leash, having her wait, walking down the sidewalk a little bit, and then having her come to me. But if we're just doing walks and stuff, like I hold her leash just for like safety with cars. Okay, socializing is such a big one. I feel like as soon as she got her shots around, I don't know if it was like 3 or 4 months, we had her meeting other dogs, people. We went to the dog park all the time. This dog has not met a dog she doesn't love. Like, unless the other dog's aggressive, she is super friendly with other dogs, with kids, with Sage. Like, she is just so, like, just wants to be friends with everyone and play with everyone. And I think that's because we socialized her a lot. I heard that there's like a window for when you can really get that socializing in. And I don't know if it's like it's very short. I don't know if it's like from 12 to 16 weeks. But look it up. You definitely want to make sure you are socializing your dog. I know right now it's a little bit hard, but you know, find a friend that has a dog, take them to a field or a dog park, do it safely. But just make sure that your puppy is seeing other dogs and people, because you don't want them to become like aggressive towards even different kinds of dogs. You know, dogs can sometimes be like racist against like certain breeds of dogs. So you want to make sure that they're getting to know a bunch of different dogs and not just like one type. So one thing I've recently done that I kind of wish I did sooner was take Cashew to a holistic vet. We actually had her scheduled for an appointment like last year. Like, feel like it took, I don't know, 4 months to get on this waiting list. And then we finally got in and we did like a full like hour consultation, like appointment and everything. And I went over all of my things that I want to know regarding like tick medication, allergies, food, vaccines with dogs. Those are like the main things. And it was great because I felt like I was on the same page with the holistic vet. I feel like the vet we went to previously, if I mentioned anything that was more of a natural route with dogs, she was just totally like not on board. And anytime Cashew had like an upset stomach, they were ready to like pump her stomach, do x-rays, do surgery, give her all these shots. Like, it was just so over the top and I didn't agree with it. So just make sure, like, whoever you're seeing, whether a vet or a holistic vet, make sure that you feel comfortable asking questions and you're on the same page with them. I just didn't feel comfortable, even with like tick medication. To me, it was the same thing as taking Advil every day in case you get a headache. So now that we saw the holistic vet, he gave us a whole bunch of things to do that are pretty simple. And some of them we were already doing to help prevent ticks. And if you want me to do a whole video on like my visit to the holistic vet, let me know, because I know not everyone has access to that. And it was just a really eye-opening appointment and I'm so happy I did it. I learned a lot, and also I just feel like more confident in the choices that I make for Cashew. But yeah, so instead of just taking tick medication all the time, that is super toxic. It's actually a neurotoxin, and usually it's either done by like, I think it's either like a shot or a tablet that they eat, and it stays in their system. It's not good for them. It's not good for the people around them, because you're like petting them and it ends up in their like fur and their saliva and stuff, because it has to be strong enough to kill the ticks. So it can be, you know, very toxic for your dog, but also for people and babies and stuff around them. So she is no longer doing tick medication. And honestly, we are in the woods all the time. And last year she had 1 tick. And even dogs that are on tick medications can still get ticks. It was nice to see like an actual professional and just not make my own call about not doing it. So I feel safer in the decision that I made with that. Yeah, it was a really great appointment. It was a little bit more expensive, but unlike a traditional vet that's like, okay, we'll see you next month. Like, he was like, okay, I'll see you at the end of the year just to do blood work and see how her immunity is and if she does need any shots, instead of just giving her shots that she may not need. So that was really great, and it was just a really informative visit. I feel like I learned a lot. The other thing is feeding your dog good quality food. I know it's easy to want to get the cheapest thing that is budget friendly for your dog, but in my opinion, I think it's just going to result into higher vet bills down the road if you just like invest in their health and food now. You know, hopefully, you know, you never know, but hopefully you'll have a healthy, longer living dog. And I have just really always just like I invest in my food that I eat. You know, we think of Cashew as part of the family, and we want to make sure that what we're feeding her is healthy and good for her. And obviously, like, you still got to do what's within your budget. So, you know, don't be like not able to pay your bills because your dog's eating like filet mignon or something. But making sure that the food that they're eating is good quality. And we actually have just recently started Cashew on a raw food diet. I haven't even mentioned it on my channel or anything yet, or like on social. So we've been starting to do a raw food diet mixed with like other things, but she's been loving it. I've never seen her so excited about her food, and it's been a good journey so far. We're learning a lot. There is an awesome dog documentary called Pet Fooled. I highly recommend checking out. I think I watched it on YouTube, but it just really dives into the background of the dog food industry and basically how it's just not regulated and they can pretty much put whatever in the dog food, and how, you know, dog food now is so processed, and it's no wonder why dogs are having so many issues. So up until now, she was on a really good quality dry and wet food brand. You know, she's kind of like prone to allergies, being a boxer, still having itchy ears, and I couldn't figure out what it was. We took her off chicken, we took her off beef. But honestly, since we've switched her to a raw food diet, I've noticed so many differences already, not only in her like stool, but also just in how excited she is about her food. And I just feel like I'm giving her the best that I can give her. And yeah, it's been a good journey so far. I feel like when you talk to a vet about a raw food diet, they are so quick to convince you otherwise. But do your own research, do what makes you feel comfortable based on your dog's breed. And if they are experiencing any allergies or anything, I think it's something to look into. And I feel really good that Cashew's on this new diet. And then last but not least, I think just creating a safe and calm space and environment for your dog goes a long way. I think it's important for them to feel comfortable and safe at home, and then also have like their own space. Like Cashew, you know, sometimes she's very cuddly, but other times she wants to do her own thing. So if she goes downstairs or she's on her bed and, you know, doesn't want me to bug her like I am right now, you know, we just let her be. But I think just, yeah, having a calm space, pets really feel off of that vibe and stuff and that energy. And I feel like if you're stressed out, you're gonna have an anxious dog. We meditate together all the time, and I feel like that helps her stay calm. I feel like she feels the calm vibes, you know? So yeah, she's like a very chill dog most of the time, and I do think it's just because of like the space that she's in all the time, just kind of, she absorbs that, you know? Like even if we have people come to the door, we have a package being delivered, she doesn't get all like guardy and like anxious. She just looks and watches. She doesn't bark, which is, I don't think, something that we did. I think she's just not a barker, but we don't like, oh, who's here, and get her all excited. We just kind of keep her calm and make it like a normal thing that someone's at the door and that she doesn't need to like go crazy about it. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got some tips from this video. Be sure to check out my last video of the 10 things I wish I knew before having a puppy. I'll link that here. Also, I'm gonna have a full blog post. You can check that down below, and let me know if there's any other doggy related videos you would like me to do on my channel, and I can definitely film that for you guys. Oh, now she wants to cuddle. Yeah, she's such a good dog though, and honestly, I could cry thinking about how much we love her and what a positive impact that she's made on our lives. Like, we may have a 5-month-old baby, but I always just think of her as my first child, and she is just the best dog ever. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. This is what you get for being such a good model. Sit. Okay. Lie down. Okay. There you go. is it? Who is it?